The diner on Route 66 was quiet except for the hum of the coffee machine. Chrome stools lined the counter, and neon lights flickered softly. A lone biker sat near the window, leather vest marked with the unmistakable Hell's Angels patch, his coffee untouched, eyes scanning the room. The bell over the door rang as a little girl stepped inside. She couldn't have been older than 8. Her clothes were worn, her sneakers torn. She hesitated, clutching a small backpack, eyes darting nervously, as if she expected someone to follow her inside. The biker noticed her immediately. Years on the road had taught him to read trouble fast. She didn't walk like a carefree child. She moved like someone used to fear. She took a seat at the far booth, pulling her sleeves down despite the summer heat. The waitress approached the girl, but before she could speak, the child flinched. The biker's jaw tightened. Something was wrong. He took a slow sip of coffee and watched as the girl accidentally knocked over her water, exposing her arm for just a second. Dark bruises wrapped around her wrist, old and new layered together. The biker froze. His hand stopped mid-air. He had seen violence before, bars, streets, war zones, but seeing it on a child twisted something deep inside his chest. The girl noticed his stare and quickly hid her arm, eyes filling with tears. She slid out of the booth and walked past him, whispering, "Please don't tell." Her voice shook. She paused beside his table, as if drawn by something she didn't understand. Without thinking, the biker knelt to her level. "Who did this?" he asked quietly. The girl hesitated, then slowly pushed up her sleeve again. Bruises climbed higher, fading into fingerprints. "My mom's boyfriend," she whispered. "He gets mad." The diner felt suddenly smaller. 2 other Hell's Angels sat near the counter, laughing moments earlier. They saw their brother's face change and knew instantly. One of them stood, another put cash on the counter without finishing his drink. The biker stood, placing his jacket gently around the girl's shoulders. "You're safe now," he said, voice steady but cold. The girl nodded, trusting him without knowing why. Outside, engines rumbled to life, low and angry. As they walked toward the door, the biker looked back at the waitress. "Call the police," he said. "Tell them a little girl needs help." Then he stepped into the sunlight. Coffee abandoned, justice riding with him into the heat of the American road. The biker convoy rolled through the quiet streets without sirens, engines humming low and controlled. They stopped 2 blocks from the apartment building, parking in a neat line as if by instinct. No one joked now. Every man knew why they were there, and none of them finished the coffee cooling in their cups earlier. Inside the dim hallway, the leader knocked once, hard but calm. The door opened to reveal the man who had caused the bruises, his confidence cracking when he saw the leather vests and grim faces. He tried to speak, but the words stuck. The bikers didn't shout. Silence was heavier than threats. The leader stepped forward and spoke evenly, explaining that a line had been crossed. Not a lawman's line, but a human one. The man laughed nervously, pretending innocence, until the leader pulled out the phone. On the screen were clear photos of the bruises, time-stamped and undeniable. Fear replaced arrogance. The bikers didn't touch him. Instead, they told him he had one choice: pack his things and leave town before sunrise. If he ever came back, the consequences would be far worse than embarrassment. He nodded rapidly, sweat dripping, understanding completely. They watched as he packed a bag under supervision. No punches were thrown, no violence needed. Sometimes reputation was enough. When he left the building and disappeared down the street, the bikers waited until his car vanished, then turned back without another word. The leader returned to the diner later that night. The waitress looked up anxiously, unsure of what to expect. He simply nodded and said, "It's done." She exhaled, tears filling her eyes, relief washing over her shoulders like a heavy coat being lifted. The little girl peeked out from behind the counter. The biker knelt to her level and gently said she was brave for speaking up. He reminded her that what happened wasn't her fault, no matter what anyone ever told her. She smiled weakly, holding on to his words. Before leaving, the bikers quietly paid for every meal in the diner and left extra cash folded under a napkin. No signatures, no club names written, just a simple act of respect. The waitress tried to refuse, but the leader shook his head gently. Outside, engines roared back to life, louder now but purposeful. As they rode off into the dark American highway, the diner lights glowed behind them. They didn't see themselves as heroes. They were just men who refused to ignore cruelty when it showed its face. By morning, the apartment was empty, the town a little safer, and the girl slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. Somewhere down the road, the Hells Angels rode on, coffee unfinished, justice already served in their own quiet, unbreakable way.